Now, I did warn you, okay? Disturbing video coming up. Greta Thunberg, the high priestess of the global warming movement, is just 18 years old. So I can't tell you what a relief it was for me to see this teenager on Saturday night do what's appropriate for someone of her age and total inexperience. And it wasn't, no, telling prime ministers around the world how to run their 21st century's economies without, blackouts and going broke and people being poor and not being able to afford to turn on the lights. No. This time she was just having fun and at a pretty swish venue. What a sight. All those lucky, well-fed and well-dressed young people surrounded by all this highly polished chrome and glass and all the lights and expensive sound systems and their iPhones, and they're singing in English, the language of the country, by the way, that started that amazing industrial revolution that's since given those people there in Stockholm and all the world really, all that comfort and wealth. Yet just days earlier, that same Greta Thunberg named that same country, England, and that same industrial revolution.
More or less it started in the UK, since that's where the industrial revolution started. We started to burn coal there. So of course the UK has an enormous historical responsibility when it comes to historic emissions and so on, since the climate crisis is an accumulative crisis.
I was joined a short while ago by Bella de Brera, who's Director of the Foundations of Western Civilisation program at the Institute of Public Affairs. And I asked her, how guilty should England feel for unleashing this industrial revolution?
Greta wants Britain to feel ashamed for its part in the Industrial Revolution. It wants it to repent as if it's a sort of original sin. But really, Britain should be extremely proud of the Industrial Revolution. It shouldn't be ashamed of it. What it did was it lifted millions of people, billions of people out of poverty, not just Britons, but people around the world as well. And it increased economic prosperity, which led to greater freedoms and a much higher standard of living. So, Greta is quite irresponsible in trying to make Britain a villain for kickstarting this rapid period of technological advancement, which has really laid the foundations of our modern world.
Well, you're quite right. I mean, talking about the history, I'm thinking that Swedes like Greta Thunberg, well, before the Industrial Revolution, they could expect to live just 35 years. Now they can expect to live more than twice that age. So I would have thought that perhaps the Swedes should be grateful to England.
Look, they really should be grateful. Imagine what it would be like in a Swedish winter without electricity, without the comforts of the 21st century. I think she hasn't really thought about that aspect of it. And Greta should be thankful on a very personal level. She's turned 18. And as you mentioned, they could expect to live to 35. She's only got another 17 years left if it was the pre-industrial revolution. So it is extremely short-sighted and narrow-minded and a very wrong way of looking at history if you want to go back to the agrarian days, the pre-industrial days of before the 18th century.
It seemed weird to me. So there she is dancing and singing. That's fine. That's good. As 18-year-olds should be able to do all that. But in what seemed almost like a nightclub, all that steel and lights and glass and all these things that are done by industrial processes, 40% of the electricity for those iPhones and all that, and the lights from nuclear power, which she also objects to. It seems to me that wealth and fossil fuel emissions almost go hand in hand, unless you're lucky with Sweden, you've got lots of hydropower as well. She seems to be almost in revolt against the very things that have made that crowd in front of her well-dressed, well-fed, long-lived, healthy, wealthy.
Yeah, look, it sort of leads me to believe that it's not really about the environment for someone like Greta Thunberg. It's more of a religion. It's more of a way of seeing the world, which is a worship of Mother Earth, a worship of Gaia, and this belief that we are at the end of times. So she sort of is quite a religious figure in a way. So really, she's not an environmentalist. She's more of a millenarian. She's living a life which she believes is going to end very shortly because of climate change. I think she should get out and dance more and be more like an 18-year-old. It's nice to see her having some fun, but mostly she seems to be pretty miserable.
Well, it was good to see her finally smiling and dancing and singing and all that. I thought it was ironic that the song she chose to sing was in English, and most of the people could sing it too, which one of the things the Industrial Revolution in England did was export the language all around the world, a language of progress. I think she maybe in future should boycott that too. Bella de Brera, thank you so much for your time.